Hey y'all! Pokemon Crystal using only one Heracross was a lot of fun, and it was a really good bug. So now let's use one of the worst bug Pokemon ever! This week I'm going to see if I can beat Pokemon Crystal using only one Ledyba! As usual, the rules are I can only use Ledyba in battle, and I can't use any items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of these videos on my channel. Ledyba is one of those Pokemon that trades cuteness points for actual base stat points. This thing is honestly terrible. It has good special defense, and other than that, it's all bad. Like, really, really bad. Most of its attacks are physical, but it only has 20 base attack. That's one of the worst among any Pokemon. I dare say Ledyba might even be worse than Zubat in red. Not sure why I do this to myself, but anyways, let's get into it. Off at Professor Elm's lab, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Ledyba so that our rival will pick Cyndaquil. Ledyba is weak to fire types, but fire moves are special in this game and we actually have decent special defense. It's the rock types I'm worried about. We are double weak to rock, and it preys upon our much worse physical defense. Ledyba is the 5-star Pokemon, so I nickname ours Lady Baba, cause she's a superstar. Ledyba starts off with just Tackle and Supersonic, and so we're able to beat the first rival battle with Bubs, but only because Cyndaquil doesn't have Ember yet. And the next time we see him, it'll be a Quilava, and it'll have Flame Wheel, and then that's a lot more difficult. In the meantime, back at Professor Elm's lab, I made sure to give the police officer a rival's name, Bubs. Some people have asked why it's always Bubs, and for that I say go check out the challenge video I did with Teddy Ursa. Heading off to the gym in Violet City, I take on the Flying-type gym leader Faulkner, and I got my Carapace kicked. Ledyba is weak to flying and also has terrible physical defense, so yeah, this one's not good. Even with Supersonic, we can't do enough damage to these bloody birds before they bash our bug. So I level up in Sprout Tower until we learn Comet Punch, and then I try again. I still lost a bunch of times, but eventually, with great confusion luck, Ledyba was able to snag a win. Yeah, the first gym being this hard is not a good sign. After Faulkner is Bugsy, Bug-type gym leader. I taught Ledyba the TM for Swift that I found in Union Cave, so at least now we have an accurate move that does okay damage. But seriously, Ledyba's attack stat is so awful. There's times when Ledyba levels up and gains 0 points in attack. Bugsy poses a huge problem because of how many hits it takes Ledyba to knock things out. This gives Fury Cutter more turns to double in damage, and that damage adds up quickly. Once again, Ledyba only makes it past the battle because of Supersonic, and I'd like to remind everyone, that's only 55% accurate. So we gotta get pretty lucky. But we beat Bugsy and proceed to battle Bubs once again. And if not for Swift, I probably would have quit this run altogether. More on that later. For now, Ledyba has no moves that can damage the Ghastly, so my only option is to repeatedly confuse it and let it damage itself from confusion. That's literally the only way that I can damage this thing. And once again, I'd like to remind everyone that Supersonic is only 55% accurate. It takes me dozens and dozens of tries to even make it past the Ghastly. And then Quilava has the gall to lower my accuracy with Smokescreen. Luckily, Swift cannot miss, and I was so mad by the time I got to Quilava that, if that were not the case, I probably would have quit this entire run. Worst part is, we're just getting started. And the struggle bus keeps on rolling with Whitney's Miltank in the Goldenrod City Gym. A lot of things happened here. Ledyba repeatedly got knocked out by Miltank's first rollout thanks to our terrible defense and double weakness to rock, so I had to grind up 5 levels, but I still didn't stand a chance, so I did the only sensible thing, and bought the TM for Ice Punch from the Goldenrod City department store, and then fished for a freeze. And I don't want to see none of that heat in the comments. You try beating Whitney with a Ledyba, and tell me you wouldn't do the exact same thing. Off in Ecruteak City, I head to the Burnt Tower, where I have to beat Bubs, and I just wish every single battle wasn't so hard with this thing. Statistically speaking, it is better for me to fish for a freeze on his lead Haunter than to try for really anything else. Supersonic is, I don't know if you know this, 55% accurate, and if Haunter goes for Curse, the battle's over. We get around the Magnemite Supersonic with a Bitter Berry, and actually have decent enough special defense to deal with the Quilava. Don't even ask me how many times I had to try this one, I've stopped counting. From now on, unless I state otherwise, just assume that I had to do every single battle way too many times. Also in Ecruteak City is the battle with the Ghost Gym leader Morty, and this one was also pretty painful. This is Bubs' Haunter on steroids, and if any single one of his Pokemon lands a curse, battle's over. Plus we have to deal with Lick Paralysis chance and Hypnosis from Gengar. We want Morty to go for Nightshades, and even better if he goes for Mean Look. Ledyba can also learn Thunder Punch, and sometimes I switch back and forth with Ice Punch, but I use Ice Punch here just for the freeze chance. You know. The chance for Ice Punch to freeze is the same as for Thunder Punch to paralyze, so I'd be foolish not to try and get Big Chili style every once in a while. But after beating up the Bandana Boy, it's time to take on the Muscle Man, Gym Leader Chuck, in the Cianwood City Gym. And here, Thunder Punch is way more useful. I actually had more trouble with the trainer that has a Machoke who knows Rock Slide than I did with either of Chuck's Pokemon. They go down pretty easily. The Ice-type Gym Leader Price is up next in the Mahogany Town Gym. Thunder Punch really helps with his Seal and Dugong, but the Piloswine is immune. And I really can't afford to replace any of our other moves to have both punches at the same time. Also, it's important to note that Ledyba, for some cruel reason, can't learn Fire Punch. And I say cruel because I can't think of any reason, besides spite, why Game Freak wouldn't give this thing Fire Punch when it can learn Comet Punch, Thunder Punch, and Ice Punch. Thankfully, there aren't any physically defensive Steel types in this game that would be better served by having a Fire move. Next up is the Steel-type Gym Leader Jasmine and her Steelix, a Steel-type Pokemon with the highest defense stat in the game. Dig is double super effective against the Magnemites, but it's not until level 46 that it becomes a 1-hit KO, because Ledyba's attack stat is trash. Rock Throw from Steelix annihilates Ledyba, and Jasmine uses a Hyper Potion, so this one is really aggravating, because just when you think you've got it, BAM! She heals and you lose. We win because of a freeze, and that's the only reason why. In the Team Rocket Radio Tower anime arc, we take on the rival in the basement underground, and we're actually high enough of a level that we can 2-hit KO most of his Pokemon. The only real issue is that Golbat has Confuse Ray. Luckily though, on this run, say it with me everyone, we freeze the Golbat! And you know what, Ledyba is so bad that I'm just going to invoke Freeze Claws, and I'm going to justify this whole thing by saying that Ladybugs bring luck. Besides, if Tim Allen can have a Santa Claus, we can have a Freeze Claws. I don't normally like to rely on strategies like this, but when you're talking about something as awful as Ledyba, you just have to stand up and ask yourself, what am I willing to put up with today? And today, I'd rather see my wife and dog than deal with this nonsense. Now for the last Johto Gym Leader, the Dragon Leader Claire, and this one really made me sweat. Even at level 54, while holding a Never Melt Ice to boost our Ice Punch, we're still a damage roll to 1-hit KO the Dragonairs, which, if they survive, they paralyze Ledyba with Thunder Wave. Eventually, I get a run where all the damage rolls go in our favor, and we get to Kingdra at full health. But Karma is a mother, and we get smoke screened and proceed to miss a ridiculous amount of moves. We take Hyper Beams, and just barely string together enough hits to win with 7 HP. And that was only possible because Claire missed a Hyper Beam halfway through Kingdra's onslaught. I'm so ready to put Johto behind us onto the Elite Four. But before the 4, we traverse Victory Road to beat up our rival Bubs one last time. This is one of the few instances where we actually won the battle on the first try. That's really just because Bubs' Pokemon are in their 30s while we're close to 60. There's a joke in there about boomers versus millennials, but I'm too frustrated to try and figure it out. Seriously, our attack stat is so bad that Dig can't even 1-hit KO Bubs' Haunter. I mean, at this point, we basically just have it for Steel types, which otherwise, we can't hit very hard at all. God, I am really not looking forward to trying to beat the Elite Four with a friggin' Ladybug. What have I gotten myself into? I'm not even halfway through the game! Okay, it's time for the Elite Four, and would you look at those stats? They're awful! Yeah, I tried the Elite Four and immediately got wrecked, so after a lot of grinding, we're back at level 65. We gained 6 levels and also 6 attack. Seriously, our attack stat is the same as our level. That's definitely a first. And not a good first like landing on the moon. Up first is the Elite Four Will, the Psychic-type trainer. A lot of his Pokemon are weak to Ice Punch, and at level 65, they're mostly damage ranges to 1-hit KO. If they survive, the Zatus use Confuse Ray, at which point we might as well pack our little bug-sized suitcase and go home. Even when I get good damage ranges, Slowbro comes in and chunks it up. It raises its attack and defense with Curse, at which point we aren't really doing any semblance of damage. Our best bet is to Supersonic the Slowbro and just hope it hurts itself. See why I said this wasn't even possible at level 59? Because remember, Supersonic is 55%. I feel like I've said this before already. Even if I was using a Ledyba that was at a higher level and with perfect DVs, I don't think it would make that much of a difference. Our base stats are just so bad. Next up is Koga, and right away I realize I am completely outgunned here. Crobat outspeeds and is able to set up double teams before we can hit it with a single Ice Punch, so even our trusty Freeze Claws won't help us now. And as soon as it uses Toxic, the game is over. We've got to reset. It's the Fury Cutter conundrum all over again. we take way too many hits to knock out his Pokemon, and Toxic doubling damage means we lose no matter what. So I just bite the bullet and grind out some levels until we're level 69 going into Will. The battle with Will is a little bit easier, but Koga's still bad. At level 70, Ledyba finally outspeeds the Crobat, which makes it possible to get past his second Pokemon without being badly poisoned. We even get to invoke Freeze Claws against his Venomoth, which also likes to spam Double Team. Shocker, all of Koga's Pokemon like to spam evasion moves besides the Fortress, which can waste our PP with Protect and then go boom, because Explosion halves your defense, and we don't have a lot of that, so it's a 1-hit KO, and we gotta avoid that at all costs. Also, shout out to Scott's Thoughts for teaching me that Venomoth is an electric psychic type. You know, I've been playing this game for years, but you learn something new every day. Next up is Bruno, and I made fun of Bruno in the last run with Heracross, and this time he's back with a vengeance, baby! Ledyba is flying and bug type, which on the one hand means we double resist fighting type moves, which is good, right? Well, bad news is that his Machamp has Rock Slide. And even at this level, Rock Slide is a 1-hit KO on Ledyba. So, pick your poison, folks. Freeze Claws or Supersonic. Like Olmec said in the early 90s, the choice is yours. Purple Parrots aside, this battle sucks, and I had to try it again and again and again because, and I cannot stress this enough, Supersonic is only 55% accurate. To give you an idea of how frustrating this whole process has been, go into your closet, find a pair of sewing scissors, then go outside and cut your grass. You'd spend less time doing that than you probably would beating this game with Ledyba. Next up is the Dark-type Elite Four member Karen, and like always, I hate her. I hate her, she's annoying, and I hate her. Umbreon is a Scumbrion, what with it constantly lowering our accuracy with Sand Attack. I reset this battle so many times because not being able to hit our already pitifully weak moves is just very, very bad. Pretty much the moment Umbreon lands a Sand Attack, I get frustrated and reset the game and try again, and I had to do that kind of a lot. We have to rely here on Supersonic, and remember, Supersonic is only 55% accurate. Are you irritated with the repetition? Now you know how it feels. Houndoom comes out and lands a huge flamethrower for most of our health, and Gengar places a curse on our Ledyba when we're already at super low health. Luckily for us, in this game, Curse won't deal damage on a turn where you knock out a Pokemon. And since her last two Pokemon are both weak to Ice Punch, our Frosty Fisticuffs are able to knock out her remaining Pokemon without us taking any more damage, which is good news, because I don't know if I have the strength to carry on otherwise. Many times throughout this run, after beating an important battle like this, I've just put the game away and come back a couple days later, because honestly, I'm losing my patience. Last up is the champion battle with Lance, and I'm feeling pretty confident that the worst is behind us now that we've beat Karen, because Lance is the Dragon Master and we've got Ice Punch, so we should be good, right? Well, Gyarados comes out and sets up Rain Dance, which is actually good because it weakens the flamethrower damage from Charizard. Gyarados goes down without dealing too much damage, and Lance's Dragonites are all 1-hit KOs. Man, this is going to be easy. What does he have after the Dragonites again? Oh, that's right, a Aerodactyl that knows Rock Slide, even though you can't learn that in the game, but that's fine. We're going to knock it out with Ice Punch, except... oh, sick. Okay, we're back and better than ever. Ledyba is now level 75. And good lord, that's usually the level we're at when we go to fight Red. Anyways, we're finally able to 1-hit KO the Aerodactyl with an Ice Punch, but the Rain Dance wears off right before we get to the Charizard, so Flamethrower is scorching our Ledyba. Ice Punch isn't even a 2-hit KO, and we cannot take 2 Flamethrowers, and Freezing won't help us because Flamethrower will fall out Charizard. So instead of Freeze Claws, we invoke the Crit Claws, and that's right, I'm that guy, and I don't feel bad about it, because seriously, you have no idea just how painful this entire experience has been. But with the Elite Four defeated, we have made our way into the Hall of Fame, but you know the run isn't over yet. I'm always going to consider beating Trainer Red as the true ending to the challenge, unless a Pokemon is just impossibly bad, and believe me when I say I considered calling it quits here. Looking ahead a little bit, I'm genuinely not sure how I'm going to beat Red's Charizard. We had a hard enough time with Lance's Charizard, and Red's will be at almost twice the level. Still, I choose to soldier on, and after the Hall of Fame, we beat the first 7 Kanto Gym Leaders, and then take on Numero Ocho, Gym Leader Blue. And so even though Ledyba is bad, it still got through the 7 Kanto Gym Leaders without much trouble, but when we got to Blue, even at level 80, it was just not happening. The issue here isn't lack of coverage moves, special defense, or even physical defense for that matter. No, it's just our attack stat is awful, and we don't do that much damage with Return or Dig. We need all the attack we can get in order to get past the Arcanine and Gyarados, so there's nothing to do besides grind all the way to level 100. Seems like a waste to do all that grinding for just 20 attack points, but I know we're going to need to be maxed out for Red anyways if we're even going to stand a chance. And I don't want to belabor the issue, but grinding Ledyba to level 100 was horrible. Imagine you're playing baseball, and you're up to bat, but instead of a baseball, you're using a brick, and instead of a bat, you're using your face. But we have just enough attack to squeak out a win, and now it's time for Red, and I don't want to sugarcoat this battle. This was one of the hardest things I've ever attempted in any of these runs. Seriously, I didn't even struggle this much with Zubat. We can't even one-hit KO the Pikachu with Dig, and its thunders do huge damage. Plus, if it clicks Charm, the battle is immediately over. And I tried all different kinds of strategies, but no matter what I did, Ledyba kept losing to the Charizard. I contemplated giving up, but after hours and hours of trying and failing, in a last-ditch effort, I taught Hidden Power to Ledyba, and lo and behold, Ledyba has Hidden Power Rock! The exact thing I need to get past Charizard. It's barely a 2-hit KO, but hey, C's get degrees, and Charizard can catch D's. Even with Charizard out of the way, we're still not in the clear. Flamethrower leaves us on very low health, and even with leftovers and Giga Drain recovering our health, Blastoise is able to two-shot Ledyba with Blizzard. So, we are invoking what I like to call the Faulty Weatherman clause, where Blastoise calls for a Blizzard, but it never hits. And even when we get the Blizzard miss, it's not over. Snorlax is a defensive juggernaut, and we're barely able to take it out before it's curtain call for Ledyba. Once we get to the Venusaur though, it's pretty much game over. We had to get rid of Ice Punch for Giga Drain, so it takes a lot of turns to whittle down the Venusaur. But its strongest move is Solar Beam, which takes a turn to charge unless it sets up Sunny Day. With leftovers, it's easy enough to wait for Venusaur to lock into Solar Beam and then dodge it with Dig. And remember that each turn we waste is a turn that Ledyba recovers with leftovers. Besides, even when Solar Beam does hit, Ledyba has good special defense and we double resist Grass. And Red even does us a favor by stalling for our own turns by recovering Venusaur with Synthesis, which only serves to give Ledyba more leftovers recovery. It's a bit long-winded, but this strategy allows us to get to the Espeon with full HP, and we're able to take 2 Psychics and knock out the Espeon, winning the battle! And with that, the challenge is over, and so is my patience. That was the most frustrating experience I've ever had playing a video game. You thought Zubat was bad? Nice try, bucko. Seriously, if not for the complete miracle that was Ledyba having Hidden Power Rock, this would have been the first challenge I gave up before beating Red. Well, as always, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, and sometimes pain, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos if you want to check those out as well. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And let me know in the comments what other Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Next week, we're heading back to Kanto once again, where I'm going to try to beat Pokemon Red using only one Oddish. Man, I need a vacation. Anyways, until next time, bye!